ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
अर्जुन उवाच एवं सततयुक्ता ये भक्ता स्वां पर्युपासते ये चाप्यक्षरमव्यक्तम् तेषां के योगवित्तमाः। श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यावेश्य मनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेताः ते मे युक्ततमा मताः। ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवम् सन्निहं येन्द्रियग्रामम् सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः। क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम् देहवद्भिरवाप्यते। ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम् मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अथ ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः। अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततः मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि।
Clarification. When the Swabhava drives a person to that activity, question number 1. What are the different aspects of Rajoguna and Tamoguna? Which aspect of these gunas should be dealt rightly and which should be completely eliminated? What are the different aspects of Rajoguna and Tamoguna? Which should be kept and which should be eliminated? Primarily, all the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, all these are bondage. That's why he says guna atita. Liberation is a state where you transcend the gunas. For all the three gunas has the nature of bondage. Having said all these three gunas is the cause of bondage, also what it implies is we can only use this to transcend also. Even though these are the cause of bondage, this is what we have to use to transcend. So, Sattva guna is bondage. Therefore, let me get over. Therefore, let me not become sattvic at all. Anyway, it's a bondage. No, why not be in the tamasic bondage itself? Because sattva is also a bondage. Now that's the wrong argument. Why? Because there are some aspects of guna that is beneficial, and there are some aspects of guna which I need to consciously get rid of. And I'm repeatedly saying we are going to study that in 14th chapter in detail. I'm not going to each and every details of all that now. I'm only making a statement now. Only in chapter 14 we are going to study that. All three are bondage. Sattva guna, the nature of sattva guna is knowledge, seeking knowledge. For a person seeking knowledge, obviously what has to be alert? Jnanendriyas has to be alert. Then only you can gain knowledge. So that person will be the Jnanendriyas will be very alert and dynamic and effective. Now Jnanendriyas, we know what it is. Organs of perception, organs of Jnana Indriyas, because they give knowledge. It has to be active and it will be active and dynamic. For example, in a classroom, Zoom low advantage. You can switch off the camera and do what you want. Sir, I can do what I want to do. As long as I'm hearing no, I can do what I want to do also, isn't it? Jnanendriyas are not that effective. Therefore, what happens? The very absorption of knowledge itself goes down. Why? Because knowledge is received through all the five senses. It's not only through words, the ears hear the sound, the words, the eyes, the eyes see. So each and every sense together, participate in it. Therefore, in Sattva Guna, Jnanendriyas will be active and alive. When Jnanendriyas are active and alive, Karmendriyas will be quiet. That is why we say sit in one posture, cross leg, don't keep moving. Don't activate the karmendriyas, because if you keep activating the karmendriyas, that's why some people, they just go be, they'll go, isn't it? Every be, they'll go. Legs will be. Karmendriyas can't stay quiet. If karmendriyas can't stay quiet, rajoguna pradhana. Because the rajoguna is such that they can't even sit quietly, isn't it? Once the karmendriyas gets activated, you will tend to become extrovert. The tendency will go outward. If you sit in a place and control the karmendriyas, jnanendriyas get activated, and so in a classroom where knowledge is going to be gained, sattva guna has to be promoted. Some aspect has to be there. Because actually, therefore, what happens to Sattva Guna? Because it is knowledge oriented, obviously, what is the bondage of Sattva Guna? Noisy environment, quietude environment is what? Noisy environment is a pain, and quietude environment is pleasurable. So, and that noisy environment will be frustrating. I'm not able to too much of noise. I can't even. So, therefore, there's a dependency there also. Sattva Guna has its own positivity and it has its own dependency. Rajoguna. As I said, what is Rajoguna? Karmendriyas are active in Rajoguna. When Karmendriyas are active, naturally what happens? Action is always flow out of you. Response. Knowledge is that goes inside of you. Introvert and extrovert. That's what very loosely we call it as introvert and extrovert. Now, this introvert and extrovert, not in the English dictionary sense of today. It's in totally different. We have a very unique Vedantic meaning to this word, introvert and extrovert. What is tamoguna? When Jnanendriya is also not doing anything, Karmendriya is also not doing anything, what will you be doing? Anybody? Jnanendriyasum வேலை செய்யல, கர்மேந்திரியாசும் வேலை செய்யல. What will that person be doing? தூங்கின்னு இருப்பார். அதனால்தான் tamas is equated to sleep. In the waking state also you can be asleep. Waking state, if you are asleep, na, that is tamoguna. In the waking state, I'll get up and not do anything. Abdina, you are in tamoguna. Because in the waking state, either karmendriyas or jnanendriyas must be active. Both I will not do anything. I will just sit stubbornly. Na? That's called depression. Tamoguna has taken over. Are you able to follow now? Now, is tamoguna all that problematic? If tamoguna isn't there at all, we will not rest. We can't sleep. We can't rest. Therefore, tamoguna is also that aspect of sleep, which is rest, is very vital for, which is very vital, because then only jnanendriyas, karmendriyas needs that rest, refresh button, reorganize themselves and come back the next day. Therefore, that aspect of tamoguna is also very, very important. But where comes the problem is what? Inappropriate places la தூக்கம் வரக்கூடாது, isn't it? சகஸ்ரநாம சொல்லுங்கன்னா தூக்கம் வரக்கூடாது, isn't it? Say சகஸ்ரநாமனா அப்போ I can't fall off to I can't fall off to sleep. It means, no sir, I don't have a connect at all with that. I'm getting bored. Are you able to follow? So these are the three characteristics of the gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. Because of the nature of activity, rajoguna I'm talking about. Because of the nature of activity of rajoguna, it is, in the 14th chapter, he defines it as ragatmakam. It is passionate, raga, longing. It's all the time craving, longing, actions. If the sign of going to get it is there, it will get more activated. If no sign of my longing going to get fulfilled, it will go into depression, not do anything. That is tamoguna, rajoguna. Again, I repeat. Rajoguna is ragatmaka. Ragatmakam viddihi, he says. Know this to be ragatmaka, he says in the 14th chapter. Ragatmaka means craving, longing. All that implies indiscriminately. Indiscriminate longing, craving, and as long as there are indications of what I want is I'm going to get, there is a motivation, energy, enthusiasm. Supposing if there is a disturbance, vigna, the first obstacle is enough to demotivate the rajoguna. You can only be active, but vigna will come. Therefore, sattoguna comes and supports the actions. Vigna means obstacles will come. Now, whatever the obstacle is, you can continue to be motivated in spite of the obstacles, or you can tell that without any obstacles only, I will be motivated. If obstacle comes, I will start crying. If obstacle comes, I will start crying. Is rajoguna. Tamoguna is what? Tamoguna is a conviction about inaction. Yeah, tamoguna is a conviction about inaction. We can't say this also, because if we say this, they'll put memes against Vedanta also now. Yeah, the class lane they may put also. Yeah, from this class only they will put memes. How can you say this? Some man said work 90 hours a day, 90 hours a week, not a day. Some man said work 90 hours. Is that a big thing? 85% of the society is working 90 hours a day. Haven't you ever felt compassionate to the security guy who's working in front of your house for that 5,000 rupees? How do you treat him? And then you put a meme that, how can we work for so long? Are you able to follow? Everybody works. Who doesn't work? Actually speaking, the system is so well organized. The blue collars, time is fixed. No, factory starts at 7 o'clock. The shift ends at 4 o'clock. Is that a problem? Because that much labor work only they can do, it's fine. Isn't it? But then rest of them, why can't they sit? But then Tamoguna is justifying. Tamoguna is justifying inaction. Look at the doctors when they study. Oh God. They train them to work. 36 hours non-stop duty they give. 2 hours sleep. They come out, 2 hours sleep. 36 hours non-stop duty they do. They do all that and come and sit and give a prescription without any clue to what they are doing. You will Google whether the doctor is correct or not. Whether he is given the prescription is correct or not. Does it make any? So Tamoguna is justifying inaction. Whereas Rajoguna says be active. Sattva Guna says don't be agitated in action. That's all. Are you able to understand how it works? Tamoguna will justify inaction. இதெல்லாம் இவ்வளோ பண்ணா போறோம். ஓகே, அவ்வளோ பண்ணா போறோம்னா அவ்வளோதான் கிடைக்கும்னா the rewards we want to know. Inaction will give very minimal rewards. But then we want maximum rewards. Bharata Rishabha, the concept of Narayanji. Single word, one word, Bharata Rishabha is enough. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, Krishna keeps on calling Arjuna Bharata Rishabha, Bharata Rishabha. That word is enough to, in that one word, the philosophy is contained. You are a Bharata Rishabha, Arjuna. Now, what 90 hours? You used to work for 120 hours. What ability you had and what has happened to you now? Are you able to follow? Number 2, supporting useless actions and getting agitated about useful actions is Tamoguna. Supporting useless actions and getting frustrated about useful actions is Tamoguna, isn't it? We need family time, sir. Correct. Don't earn anything and sit inside your family and see what the family does to you. No, we all will love each other and we all will be sitting with each other, spending quality family time. But salary will be very less. Would you like it? Would you like it first? If your father and mother had said that, would you have liked it? If your father and mother had said that, you won't be sitting enjoying what you have now. No. Isn't it? Where is the problem? Tamoguna will justify that. Tamoguna will justify that. Rajoguna will be agitated and passionate and frustrated doing it. That's only difference. So from Tamoguna, you need to move. So justifying inaction is the aspect of Tamoguna must be eliminated. The frustration and the worry and anxiety of the Rajoguna must be eliminated. When the justification for inactivity and the frustration and agitation are removed, what will you be left with? Activity. Calmness. Calm activity. That is called Sattva-guna. I'm just giving one sample. When we go to 14th chapter, class will become empty. Tell you from 14th chapter to 18th chapter, Saumitra will be very free. Assuming you will be there, Divya, I know she will be there. Yeah. Assuming that you will be there. Sudhir is very happy today. I don't know why. He is enjoying. Justifying inactivity is Tamoguna. And wherever we get a chance, we justify inaction. Wherever we get a chance, we justify inaction. Inaction means performing useless action. Remember that. There is no such thing as zero action. Because how much ever you want to sleep, you can't oversleep. It's not possible. You know that? You can never oversleep. Your body will start paining and you will wake up. You can't oversleep and all. Body will pain and you will wake up. And then you will wake up very irritated, frustrated, tired, fatigued. That's a different story altogether. Therefore, you say, I'm so tired. After 9 hours of sleep, sir, I'm tired. It's not that you are tired. When you wake up, you know that there is a activities that is lined up, and the thought of you having to do that is so tiring that you don't want to get up. That mind's unwillingness is the problem. Are you able to follow? So inaction as in a affection to useless action is tamoguna. Because all actions is useful and useless. But there is no such thing called zero action. How do you say that? Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu dishtatya karma krit. Sharira yatra pichate. Chapter 3. You can't remain inactive even for a split second, Arjuna. You can't remain inactive. But you can be doing lot of useless actions you can do. That is possible. Are you able to follow? This is the classic. So in tamoguna, what do you eliminate in tamoguna? Make a list of your useless actions and keep removing that. What is the useless action? First thing, refusing to do what I ought to do. Yeah. What is refusing to do what I ought to do means? We give that example. No, minimum thing, isn't it? Minimum thing. What is the first thing you got to do when you wake up? Everybody say brush the teeth. Isn't it? That is the 10th activity after you wake up. As soon as you wake up, what is the first activity that you are supposed to do? Remember God. That's the first activity that you are supposed to do. When you wake up, remember God. Narayana, you should say. Yeah, Narayana, you should say. And then you should say, thank God, one more day for me, Nitya Naimitika Karma. Thank God. That's what you are supposed to do. Brushing the teeth comes 5 minutes later. And then the third thing is what? What is the third thing? At least fold the blanket. Isn't it? At least fold the. So anyway, sir, evening I'm going to sleep inside that only. No. So why close? These are all unproductive actions, sir. So anyway, I'm going to use it again. Why? Yeah. That's why I have employed 3 people to do that also. Why? Because that is useless action. For I will do only useful action. And what is the only useful action you will do? Sit and daydream. Sit and daydream about how great you are. Sit and daydream about how great you are. That's all you will keep doing. This is tamoguna. So what you avoid, this you this you avoid in tamoguna. What you do in rajoguna? What you avoid in rajoguna? The longing for the result. Agatmakam. Longing for the result. And each and every step asking for guarantee for the result. All that you avoid. That is avoiding not the action, avoiding the longing and seeking guarantee for the fruit, for the result of your actions every single day. Whenever you ask what to do, it means what? Result orientation I have taken over. What to do now, sir? What to do now for my growth? You have been attending classes for 10 years. You should know what to do for your growth. What should you do for your growth? There are people who are attending classes before I am born also. Yeah. What to do for your growth? Venkat Shankarlan, they started attending before I am born. Oh. Supposing if they come and ask now what to do, or Ravindran also, if they come and ask what to do, what to tell them what to do, Rajkumar, oh, genius singer Granga. What to do? Now, what to do? You know what to do. Are you able to follow? You know, what is it that you have to? Nitya Naimitika karma has to be, Nitya Naimitika karma has to be done, and the raga has to be eliminated, not the action. So, in order to eliminate these two, you need sattva guna, which is knowledge. Knowledge alone can eliminate these two. Therefore, every day you must spend some time on gaining this knowledge. Though all these three are bondage, we have to use only these three. This is how you eliminate rajoguna, tamoguna, etc. Every time anybody asks this question, I can only give samples. 14th chapter, we will study it a lot. Next clarification. Pain as prasad is understandable at the physical level, such as in a medical condition where pain signals the need for corrective action, example, a fracture. However, at the same physical level, how can one view domestic violence harassment as prasad? Additionally, could you provide a relatable example to help us understand how to perceive pain as prasad at the emotional and intellectual levels? The question yaar kettanga? Whose question is this, Venkat? Domestic.
Same person.
Huh?
Same person.
Same person dana. Domestic violence, harassment, I'm getting worried now. That's why I asked. Who asked this question? Rajkumar, why are you laughing? I can't understand why are you laughing. Domestic violence, physical harassment, and now how to see it as prasad also. Oh God. Divya, you don't want to know who the questioner is. Please. I don't know. Huh? I am stunned, not knowing what to say. Huh? I'm introspection I'm doing now. Example. What is meant is an emotional and intellectual thing, how it can be seen as a prasad. First of all, you cannot take pain as prasad, pleasure and pain as prasad. First thing. If you develop the maturity to accept pleasure as prasad, then only you can take pain also as prasad. You can't say pleasure is my effort, pleasure is caused by me, and pain as prasada buddhi. Where was it said like that? The misunderstanding is pain alone should be prasada buddhi, pleasure is my hard work. Success is my hard work, failure is prasada buddhi. How does it work? So the misunderstanding is success and failure, pleasure and pain, both must be seen with prasada buddhi. Understand this first. This is the basic formula. Both must be seen as prasada buddhi. Now, how to understand emotional and intellectual pain? What is emotional pain? What is emotional pain? Emotional pain is your expectations not. When do you get emotional pain? You have an expectation, and when that expectation is not met or partially met, always remember this. Most of our expectations are at least partially met. That's the divine grace. It's not that none of your expectations are met. Your greediness is not met. Your greed is not met. Your greed is not met. But then we say, and as long as my greed is not met, I'm not blessed at all. Now, nature is not going to bless your greediness. So, partially all our expectations are met. What is meant by partially all our expectations are met? We get into the car, we reach safely. We board the flight, it's landing safely. I go to the restaurant and eat and come back, I'm all right. So, expectations are met. Where is the emotional pain now? In relation to a few, you get greedy. In relation to a few, you get greedy. In relation to a few, you turn selfish and self-centered. That selfish and self-centeredness in relation to a few is what is making you to have emotional pain. So what is the cause for emotional pain now? Based on this. Based on what I said just now, what is the cause for emotional pain? Selfishness. Full stop. Selfishness is the cause for emotional pain. So you thank the pain because it has exposed your selfishness. Because if that pain isn't there, as it is, you think you are the best product of the universe, past, present, and future put together. Isn't it? Everybody thinks about themselves like that. Okay, sir, there are good people around, but world has not recognized the greatest as yet. Isn't it? The world is still to recognize GOAT. And who is that G.O.A.T, Amit? Obviously me, sir. Where is the problem? Isn't it? Actually speaking, all are goat only. ஆட்டு மந்தைங்க தான். Isn't it? Hinsanga. Herds. Goatna herd னு அர்த்தம். Isn't it? அது கூட மாத்திட்டாங்க. Goatna herd. Doing the, where is the problem? Are you able to follow? So the ego thinks that it is all, the ego thinks it's all supreme. Pain reveals, exposes your ego. So you are grateful to the pain because it has revealed your selfishness. Intellectual. What is intellectual pain? Intellectual pain is always related to, emotional pain is related to you should be the all-powerful. Intellectual pain is related to sarvajna. You should be the all-knowing. You should know everything. Are you able to follow? Intellectual pain comes where I should know everything. That wanting to know everything is what is wanting to know everything. Beyond one's, wanting to know everything beyond one's field of activity, beyond one's ability is the, that's why gossip, for example. Gossip is the intellectual pain because you want to know, and when you know somebody is gossiping about you, you get hurt because nobody is going to say good things about you, in gossip. They are going to make a mincemeat out of you, and finally also they will say, why should we talk about it? Isn't it? After making a mincemeat. So what is intellectual pain? You not all-knowing is the intellectual pain. So you understand what? You can never become all-knowing. Therefore, there's no need for me to know so many things. I keep my calm. In my subject, I will like to know as much as I can. Rest of the things I need not. No, because that's not my I cannot become a Sarvajna. But then the pain is because the ego wants to be Sarvajna, Sarvavit, other intellectual pain, because it's not possible. At the emotional level, the ego wants to be, at the emotional level, ego pain is ultimately because of double standards. Emotional pain is because of double standards. Intellectual pain is because of Sarvajna, Sarvavit. I should be the best, sir. I should be the best. Because in your head, you think that limitations means insulting. In your head, you are so deluded into believing limitation means is inferior. The reality is what? Everything in creation is limited. Within my limitations, I can be sincere. But who cares about sincerity? Who worries about sincerity? Everybody wants to be either I'll do the best or I will not do anything. Haven't you seen people doing that? How many people I have seen doing that? Sir, if I do anything, I must do best, sir. Otherwise I won't do. I said, very good. It's a very good excuse of supporting your tamoguna of not wanting to do anything. Because you are so tamasic in nature, that's what you will talk. If I do, I will do best, or I will not do it at all. Tamasic nature it is. Tamoguna it is. Why? Because I am Sarvajna Sarvavit. It's like this. I go into the kitchen and start making dosa now. The first 5 dosas will not be as dosa only. Isn't it? It will not be at dosa because I have not done it. I don't know what's wrong in that. Oh, I'm a great philosopher. I'm a great teacher. Therefore, I can make this. If I get into the kitchen, I should make perfect dosa. If I drive on the road, I should be the best driver. If I go there, I should be that. Yeah. See, I have seen Venkat calculating cash. Oh, I will count cash. And my counting cash is always 99 or 101. It's never 100, isn't it? And he's not even looking. And he's counting it correctly also. Yeah. How can I get that? I can't get that skill. That doesn't make me inferior. Why? This is intellectual pain. What is intellectual pain? I see him doing it and I want to do it. I see Federer playing tennis. I want to be like Federer. And then I will see Djokovic playing. I want to be like Djokovic. Now I see Sinner. I want to be like Sinner. And when I started watching Becker, I wanted to. Now who do I want to be? Becker plus Federer plus Djokovic plus Sinner. What would you call that person? What would you call that person? In one word. In one word. What do you call that person? Insane. Insanity, that is. Yes. Stupidity, that is. Sorry. Yeah, stupidity, that is. Mental nartham, isn't it? Psychiatric case nartham. Are you able to follow? Mental. Why? The pain. If I'm not that, it gives me a pain. So that pain is born out of what? So what is prasada buddhi in relation to this pain? What is prasada buddhi? Thank God I become aware of my foolishness. Then I will go and watch a movie. I'll see somebody having 6 packs. I want a 6-pack. Isn't it? Then I see one English movie that fellow is jumping from here to there. I also want to jump. How is it possible to jump? Isn't it? Shooting Bhagavad, how they are not jumping only, isn't it? The shooting only, I can see they jump only 2 feet. There, how can I? Now I see everything I want to. Anything I see, I want that. I see one good car on the road. Instead of saying, what a beautiful car, I should say, yeah, I want that. It should be my car. Either I'll have the best car or no car. Either I'll have the best job or no job. Either I'll have the best or nothing. Where will I end up? Definitely best will not come, because there's no such thing called best. Therefore, where will I end up? Nothing. I'll end up as zero. Hoping for the best in life. At 60, I will end up as one big zero. Opposite of that is what? Pain must be seen as an blessedness, because it indicates your limitation. Use it and transit. That's Bhakti Yoga. That's Bhakti Yoga. Pain is seen as success comes, you feel you are 3 feet above. 2, 3 success, you feel you are 3 feet above. And then you don't need any advice, you don't need any guidance, you know exactly what to do in life. You think about all, you think yourself like that. And then one crash, the whole lot is gone. So how do you handle success? With my limited effort, what you have given me is your grace. With my limited effort, what I got with my limited effort, and what I got are disproportionate. Therefore, thank you. That is Prasada Buddhi in relation to success. But then that's not how the ego feels. The ego always feels what? Compared to what I have done and what I got is peanuts, sir. Yeah. Because from November, the worry of appraisal starts. Appraisal. Appraisal அப்புறம் என்ன? பெர்ஃபார்மன்ஸ் போனஸா என்னெல்லாம் வார்த்தை போடுறாங்க இப்பெல்லாம். அப்ரைசலுக்கு அப்புறம் என்னது? டாக்டர் ராஜ்சங்கர் சொல்லுங்க. அவர் தான் டாக்டர், டாக்டரேட் எல்லாம் வச்சிருக்கிறாரு அவர் தான் இதுல, இல்லையா? அப்ரைசல், அப்புறம் பெர்ஃபார்மன்ஸ் போனஸ். ராம் சுப்பிரமணியம் அப்புறம் என்னது? எம்ப்ளாயி ஸ்டாக்கா? எம்ப்ளாயி ஸ்டாக் ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம் கொடுத்துட்டு வரும் அப் டு மார்ச் நத்திங் கம்ஸ். ஸோ ஃப்ரம் மார்ச் டு நவம்பர் agitated about nothing came. From November to March, going to the in and through all that, nothing productive is done. Nothing productive is done in and through all that. Are you able to follow? So what is Sattva Guna? Sattva Guna is this. Another Pudu. Yesterday somebody told me, you are kicked out, you are thrown out of job nu sollakudada. Enna sollanuma? You are outside promotion. You are promoted outside. You are promoted outside the organization. அப்படின்னா கேட்டுறீங்களா? Who knows all this before? அப்டேட்டடா இருக்கணும். You are instead of saying you have lost your job னு சொல்லக்கூடாதா. You should say you are promoted outside the organization. I tell you, so life is so hilarious. If you see it from this angle, it's so hilarious. Are you able to follow? Pleasure and pain must be seen as Prasada Buddhi. Success and failure must be seen as Prasada Buddhi. Prasada Buddhi is the indicator that your ego has bent. Prasada Buddhi means the ego has bent. Your ego has learned to bow down. And once the ego has learned to bend, once the ego has learned to bow down, it will never again become erect. If it is becoming erect, means it has not bent properly. Suma bend பண்ற மாதிரி பாவலா, isn't it? Since I can't do Namaskar, sir, I'll do this. Yeah, whether you go down, yeah, Sashtang Namaskar you should do. And how you should do Sashtang Namaskar? Like a stamba, he says. Pole madri will know, they will say. No, like a pole. No, how the pole drops. First mutti vara, first the knees will not come down, and then the stomach, and then the elbows, and then the body, and then the abdomen. When you bow down like that. Ego must bend like that. And once it's bent, it never gets up again. That's the freedom. Freedom from the ego. All of us need freedom from ourselves. We don't need freedom from the others. For Everybody is in their own prison caught up. Everybody is in their own prison caught up. What will people think about me, sir? They have no time to think about you because they are busy thinking about themselves. Okay. When do you think about others? Only when you have no work to do, isn't it? When you are busy with something, do you have time to think about others? When do you think about others? Only when you have nothing to do. So anybody thinking about others means they have nothing to do. Does it make any sense? So either way, it doesn't make any sense worrying about. But then ego will not think. Why? Because ego puts itself as the center of the creation, as though everything is happening around itself. In the road, when I go, I feel everybody is looking at me, everybody is talking about me, everybody is so for me, against me. For me, who's there for me? Everybody is against me only. Are you able to follow? So, Prasad Buddhi na domestic violence, harassment, irritated me so much. How to see it as Prasad? Selfishness. I'm not talking about examples of domestic violence, harassment, Allah. It's not a political forum here. We discuss the concept here. அவ்வளவுதானா? Bhakti Yoga. Beautiful chapter. A very interesting, very beautiful chapter on what is Bhakti. Right from chapter 3, if you see, Arjuna kept on asking the same question. Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tatkim karmani gore mam niyojayasi keshava. Chapter 3, beginning. He said, if knowledge is superior, why are you asking me to action? Why are you making me to act? Beautiful explanation he gave in chapter 3 and chapter 4. After listening to everything, he comes back and asks the same question in chapter 5. Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punar yogam cha samsashi yachreya yetayorekam bruhi tanme sunischitam. Mati pesa kudadini, he said in chapter 3. In chapter 5, he said, tell me clearly now. What, 3 and 4, was he blabbering or what? Isn't it? For him to say, tell me clearly now. He asked about creation. He asked about everything so beautifully explained in chapter 7, chapter 9, about bhakti, about God, about devotion. He beautifully explained. After explaining about the creation, the God, etc., in chapter 7 and 9, Arjuna said, 10 and 11, கொஞ்சம் elaborate பண்ணுங்க அதை. He elaborated. He elaborated that also in chapter 10 and 11, Vibhuti Yoga and Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. After listening to all this, again is going to ask the same question. Right up to 18th chapter, he will ask the same question. In 18th chapter also, he will ask, Sanyasasya Mahabaho Tattvam Ichchami Veditum Yagasya Cha Rishikeshaha. 18th chapter also, he will come and ask the same question. What to do now? Meaning, I will not do what you had asked me to do till now. Are you able to follow? One line of thinking, right through. Like any one of us. That's why we say we are all Arjuna types. In the Upanishadic type, there is no repetition. I want to study this. Okay, take this cow and bull. Take this bull and cow. Once it became 1,000, come back. No questions asked. Why, sir? Where to go now? How to do it? No. It means you need to do all it means you have to work on do everything by yourself. That's all. It should become 1,000. How and where and what and all, it's your problem. No, but I didn't come for this. I came for Upanishad says go back. We have no time. We have no time for you. Upanishad says go back. Krishna is slightly more compassionate than the Upanishadic master. He is explaining again and again and again. In Nikila, nobody will talk only. Yeah, none of the worthy people will talk nowadays. Therefore, you should converse is true now. All the useless will be talking. Ram Subramaniam, did you hear me rightly? The worthy people will not talk now. If anybody is talking, they know it's not at all worth talking. Unless I will not do even the minimum thing that you ask me to do, I will not do. But I want to be free from without doing anything, how to be happy. Is the today's thing. Without doing anything, how to be happy. I will not do anything or minimum doing. Minimum doing only because I need to do time pass, isn't it? Where is the question? Are you able to follow the sequence? What is the Arjuna type? I will not do what is asked me to do. That's where Dharma Shastra starts with training you to listen to the command. That's why in Brahmacharya Ashrama, at the student level, they are trained to listen to the command. One who's trained to listen to the command, we are all trained to listen to the command of our own mind. Everyone is commanded by their mind. And when you obey the commands of your mind, it is destructive. When you obey the command of the Shastra, it is beneficial. But then what is Arjuna's problem here? What you are saying is not something that is appealing to me. Therefore, tell me what? Tell me that which I can achieve without, how to attain the highest without effort. Because all along, people have started thinking Bhakti Yoga means, pilgrimage, ritual, chanting. As long as I do all these three, I'll attain moksha. Number two, all along God has been seen as a person, and the moment you see God as a person, in order to get favor from a person, what you need to do? Please that person. So please God. So Bhakti Yoga has become pleasing God. And the easiest way to please Mr. God is, what is the easiest way to please Mr. God? Please Mrs. God. Because if you please Mrs. God, and that Mrs. God will give one stare to Mr. God, and Mr. God will do that. Yeah. There is the problem. We are very clear in what is bhakti is. Yeah. Because if God wills alone, you can get moksha. And the only way to get moksha is to please Him. And how to please Him? By saying you are superior, you are superior, you are superior. So keep boosting his ego, keep flattering, keep boosting. You will get, all your prayers will be answered. He comes on to say, that is not bhakti. That is not bhakti. Why do we say it is not bhakti? Is because God is not the bestower of moksha. Remember this. Moksha is your Swarupa. This is pure Veda. Moksha is your intrinsic nature. Moksha is your original nature. And that moksha is what we call as moksha is what we call as the state of God. What is the state of God? Not as a person. State of God means a liberated existence. That's why all those who have attained liberation, we treat them as they are given the equal status of God. That's why we say God, Guru, Shastra, all are one and the same. Why? Because all three has one thing in common. What? Liberation, freedom. The Upanishadic message and the Gita doesn't contradict in any way. This is what we have to understand in relation to Bhakti Yoga also. And this Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga terminology, throughout the Gita, he keeps interchanging it. That's where we can get very confused. But then he's so interchanging it, you can get a clarity also as to exactly what it is. For example, Karma Yoga is called Buddhi Yoga in chapter 2. Now that I have spoken about Sankhya Yoga, now I will teach you Buddhi Yoga, Arjuna, he says in chapter 2, verse number 39. When did Buddhi Yoga become, how did Buddhi Yoga become Karma Yoga? Because according to the word Buddhi, it should be called as Yoga of knowledge, no? But then we call it as, so Buddhi Yoga is used as Karma Yoga. In chapter 9, verse number 28, he says Sannyasa Yoga as Karma Yoga. In chapter 7 and 9, Nishkama Bhakti is called as Karma Yoga. In chapter 12, again, he is combining Karma and Bhakti as Bhakti Yoga. So always remember this. So what is called as Karma Yoga there, focusing on action, the same will be called as Bhakti Yoga here, focusing on the attitude. Therefore, Bhakti Yoga is not a separate practice. Bhakti Yoga is not an independent practice of going to a temple or a ritual or a chanting, which is different from other activities. This clarity needs to be very, very important. How do we say that? There is no Bhakti Yoga separate from Karma Yoga. Or Karma Yoga itself is renamed as Nishkama Bhakti. If you remember, in the very first introduction to chapter 12, we said just as there is Nishkama Karma, there is Nishkama Bhakti. So what is called as Nishkama Karma will be called as Nishkama Bhakti here. But why does he have to mix names, sir? Why can't he just keep saying the same terminology? If the same terminology is used, you will only by heart and repeat. You will not think. You will never understand the concept. You will only memorize it and repeat it. Therefore, what he does, he uses diametrically opposite word, hoping a few will wake up. Even then, nobody wakes up. There also they'll say correct, correct, correct. Here also they'll say correct, correct, correct. It means what? Both are not heard rightly in Artha. Therefore, what is Bhakti Yoga as we are going to study now? It's not going to be the study of a pilgrimage. It's not going to be the study of a ritual. It's not going to be the study of all that. It's not saying you should not do all that. Please understand that. What is the attitude that goes into that makes it bhakti? Are you able to follow the difference? What is the attitude that goes into it is what is going to be called as bhakti. A very simple distinction we need to understand. Sakama bhakti and nishkama bhakti. Sakama bhakti is praying to God in the hope of fulfilling your desires. Nishkama bhakti is remembrance of the abundance and saying thank you. Again, Sakama bhakti is going to God asking for. Sakama karma means what? You use action as a tool to fulfill your desires. That is Sakama karma. What is Sakama bhakti? Prayer and ritual and other things to fulfill your desire. So either way, the focus is only on fulfilling the desires. And what is the dosha in a desire? What is the dosha in a desire? Atripti. The first dosha of desire is atripti. Atripti means whatsoever the quantum is, the unfulfillment and the pain remains the same. That is atripti. A person is desperate for 100 rupees. His misery is only this much. A person is desperate for 10 million. His misery is this much. Irrespective of the quantum numbers, desires, nature is atripti. Atripti karam. That's why even in Swarga, they talk about atripti in Swarga also. That's why gods will fight in Swarga. They get jealous in Swarga, all that. Because why? Because all that comes in. Number 2. In Sakama karma, in Sakama karma, in Sakama bhakti, you will be rewarded according to your in an office, you will be rewarded according to your performance. And not everybody has the ability to perform equally. Therefore, Sakama karma will produce different results. Looking at the different results, you will get confused, you will get greedy, you will be agitated, frustrated. Are you able to follow the sequence? Sakama karma will produce results, and the result will come according to your ability and so many other factors, which is very difficult to understand, which is very difficult to comprehend, which is difficult to comprehend, and which is difficult to understand. Isn't it? What is similarly in Sakama bhakti also, different results will be produced, and then you will say, oh, God is, just as you say boss is partial, here you will say God is partial. Just as in an organization, you will say favoritism. Favoritism, isn't it? Favoritism. Boss has favoritism. God also has favoritism. All these are the dosha of Sakama karma, Sakama bhakti. In Nishkama karma, Nishkama bhakti, all these doshas gets removed. Therefore, tripti comes. So bhakti, karma bhakti gives you a tripti. That tripti is what we call as shanti. Shantanam vitaraginam. The tripti is the shanti, and the shanti is the prerequisite for nididhyasana. The shanti is the prerequisite for nididhyasana. In nididhyasana, you can claim your swarupa, attain moksha. Is the sequence. Are you able to follow till now? What is Nishkama Bhakti definition? Ananya Sintayanto Mam Yajanav Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiktanam Yogakshemam Vahamiham. So, Nishkama Bhakti definition is Ananya Chinta. But sir, Gadiye Pati Yoschinda, then who will cook? Gadiye Pati Yoschinda, Gadiye Nanchinda, then who will work? Who will do? Huh? Because I can do only one thing, sir. I can do only one thing. When you are cooking, you have to think of God. When you are sleeping, you have to think of God. When you are eating, while doing everything, one part of you should remember God. That's what Swamiji calls as the Shruti. When you go through everything, you should remember God. That then it becomes Ananya Chinta. Ananya Chinta doesn't mean you stop doing everything and start thinking. You stop everything, mind will wander. You stop doing, mind will only wander. And where it will wander? It will wander about its own self. Where it will wander, it will wander about its own past. Ayo, why I did that? Ayo, why I did that? Ayo, why I did that? I should not have done that. If I get a chance, if I go back in time, you will not get a chance. You can't go back in time, Amit. If I get a chance, if I can go back in time, you will not get a chance. You can't go back in time. Why even bother about it? Focus on what needs to be done now. You follow? Focus on what needs to be done. Then Ananya Chinta comes. That is Nishkama. That is Nishkama Bhakti. Another important aspect of Nishkama Bhakti is what we call a Sankalpa, the goal. What's your thought? For what are you doing this? Sankalpa. So Nishkama Bhakti means what? Nishkama Bhakti means Ananya Chinta plus Sankalpa. Sankalpa in relation to why am I doing this? They do the Sankalpa. No? In the traditional prayers, they do the Sankalpa. Mamopata samasta durita kshayadvara Sri Parameshwara Prityartam. Most of you won't know this because we stopped doing all this. For pleasing you, Shiva, so that you will give me this. That Sankalpa, Shiva says, very good. I didn't even hear this Sankalpa of yours. He turns deaf, he switches off. Durita Kshayadvara. Durita means all my troubles should just vanish. Durita means instant poirnu. Even before I conclude the puja and get up, all my prayers all my pains would have been vanished, and people should be waiting for Nobel Prize. People should be waiting at my door to give me Nobel Prize that I'm the best thinker. I'm the most beautiful person. I'm this. Why Durita? Can it ever happen? It is called simple greed. That's all. Isn't it? And bhakti is not going to fulfill your. Bhakti is not a tool to fulfill your greed. Therefore, bhakti is remembrance of the divine. Divine here means abundance. Abundance here, divine means abundance. Divine means a supreme intelligence anticipating your needs of today and has given you what is required for today. Make use of it rightly. Be grateful to that and make use of it rightly. What is needed for today has been provided today. Make use of it so that I can do my Nitya Naimittika karma properly. That is called Bhakti Yoga. What he calls as Karma Yoga. So at least now, from now on, we should understand what karma and bhakti are not two separate yogas. Karma and bhakti is one integrated yoga. Jnana yoga is separate. How do we segregate the two? Karma and bhakti tells you that you need to purify yourself. To that purified mind, Jnana yoga comes and says, you are that. Without that karma bhakti purification, you are that will make no sense. Personality will not change. You will still be worried. You will still be anxious. You will still be in tamasic state. Nothing will change. Are you able to understand the sequence? This is Bhakti Yoga. So what is the Bhakti Yoga means here? What does Bhakti Yoga means now? Nothing we are going to study new. What we studied as Karma Yoga, we are going to study as Bhakti Yoga. So this is cheating, sir. You need not have spent 5 days of introduction to come to this conclusion. What we studied as Bhakti Yoga, what we studied as Karma Yoga is what is going to be rephrased as Bhakti Yoga. When he is rephrasing it, he gave certain practical methodologies there. Because he is rephrasing it, he is going to give some more aids here. He gave certain aids in Karma Yoga to make it possible. He's going to give a few aids here in Bhakti Yoga in this chapter 12. In chapter 14, 16, 17, 18, he's going to give different set of aids. So remember the aid of, when he said Karma Yoga, remember the aid. When he said Bhakti Yoga, remember the aid. And when he says 14, 16, 17, 18, all those aids put together is the sadhana. Is what in Atma Bodha and Bhaja Govindam he summarizes as sadhana chatushtaya sampat. What he says in chapter, what he tells in Bhakti Yoga, what he tells in Karma Yoga is what is told in 14, 16, 17, 18. In Atma Bodha language, it will be called as sadhana chatushtaya sampat. Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampat, Mumukshatvam. It will be rephrased like that. When every time rephrasing is done, a unique tip you will get. That's what we are trying to understand here. Are you able to follow the sequence till now? Every time there is a rephrasing, one new tip we get. That's where the Shastras are so helpful. Upanishads don't do that. Books like Bhagavad Gita, Bhajgovinda, Atma Bodha does that a lot. From another angle, are you all okay till now? From another angle, Dharma itself is seen as God. From another angle, Dharma itself is seen as Supreme God. Therefore, following Dharma itself becomes Bhakti Yoga. For Dharma itself is seen as God. In Vedanta, predominantly, the law, the Dharma will be seen as God. In the when I say Vedanta means not specifically when it comes to the Advaita sect. Predominantly, rest of it will see God as in Ekarupa, Anekarupa, Vishwarupa, Arupa. It doesn't really matter whether you see it as law or you see it as Ekarupa. That distinction doesn't make any difference. As long as you remember, there is this thing called the law. And that law is symbolized in Ekarupa or Anekarupa or Vishwarupa. Therefore, Bhakti Yoga simply means obeying wherever the law is obeyed, that person by default becomes a Bhakta. This is cheating, sir. This is cheating type of teaching. This is. You don't connect everything like that and bring it back to the same point. We thought we are going to hear something different. We thought another entertainment is coming. We thought another entertainment is coming, and then you have concluded to say that nothing new is going to be taught here. What is taught previously is going to be taught again. Why the same thing is taught again? That's why I started. The question is the same. When the question is the same, answer also will be the same. What to do is the question. What is the answer? Do this. What to do, sir? Do this. But today I don't feel like doing, okay, one more day of misery, be in. Tomorrow you do. No, sir, tomorrow also I can't do. Okay, next Janma we will try. What else? But answer will not change. Bhakti Yoga. Are you okay till now? Then comes another important aspect of bhakti. So dharma is bhakti, karma yoga is bhakti. A unique factor that gets added here is because it is difficult to relate with the abstract, idols will be brought in, which is what we studied already. I'm just concluding everything together in a sequence. Because it is difficult to deal with ideals directly, symbols will be brought in to remind ourselves of the, just as even without the flag, we should be patriotic. Even without seeing the flag, we should be patriotic. But then we tend to forget it. Therefore, flag will be hoisted again and again and again. Why? Because for the one who's patriotic 24/7, hoisting flag becomes unnecessary. That person will say, it doesn't matter whether flag is hoisted or not. I am patriotic. But even when we look at the flag also, we don't get patriotism. Now what to do? Rigid code of conduct will come. Certain rituals will be there. What is the ritual? The flag should be hoisted at this time. This is how with the color. This color should go on top. This color should come in bottom. This should be the center color. Clear. Ultava flag mati utta. You know. Okay. India yeah, correct. Since we are in India now, what is the Indian flag color? Kindergarten we forgot, sir. Why are you asking now? India color, yeah. Orange, அப்புறம் white, அப்புறம் green. So when you hoist the flag, the sequence must be very clear. You can't say, I am a patriotic person, I will mix up the color and hoist the flag in the way that I want. Can you do that? How much ever patriotic you are, you don't have the freedom to change the color, the order. You have to, that is bhakti. Are you able to follow now? That's where the people will follow it to the core. They will not go and mix match and change anything, because mix matching and changing is confusing the lot. Because one person will put white on top, another person will put green on top, another person will put only orange, another person will put only white. Does it help anybody? Therefore, what they do, the flag is fixed, the colors are fixed, the sizes are fixed. It should be hoisted at this time. It should be brought down also at a time. It should be folded like this. Whole lot of disciplines will go around it. Even when one discipline is violated, punishment is correct. Exactly the same thing to the deity. Remember, remove the flag and put a god there. It means this is the god, this is the ritual, this is the prayer, this is the mantra, that is the flower, this is the leaf, this is this. Once you have done all this rightly and gotten to a maturity of selflessness, patram, pushpam, palam, toyam. Anything you can do. In the beginning, you can't do that. In the beginning, you need to follow a set of, the pattern rigidly. If you violate it, there is a punishment. Clear? But anyway, in bhakti, attitude only is important, no, sir. For whom it is? For the one who is selfless, who has developed the selflessness already. For a person who is selfish and unselfish, it has to be rigidly followed. Therefore, bhakti yoga will come in with certain rigidity in the disciplines. Therefore, bhakti yoga will come in with rigidity in disciplines. Just as karma means bhakti. There is a rigidity in disciplines. No, I don't like rigidity means you have just become egoistic. That's all. I don't like rigidity. I have my freedom to choose. You don't have your freedom to choose. Whether you like it or not, you must obey the law. I have the freedom to choose. Therefore, green light I will go over, red light I will go over. You go, what will happen? Can't. Therefore, karma bhakti becomes a strict adherence to the karma bhakti becomes a strict adherence to the law, dharma. So, what is bhakti yoga now? Strictly adhering to the law, strictly adhering to the to the law, and all knowledge must support you to adhere to the law. Then it is vitarka. If you use knowledge to break the law, that is called kutarka. That is why, in the name of Advaita, which is what people understand as Vedanta, we have only kutarka people around. In the name of Vedanta, there is kutarka going on. No vitarka is happening. Kutarka. Because intellectually you can demolish any rigidity. It is ridicule and easy to demolish discipline, but very difficult to build a discipline. Very difficult to build a discipline, but it's easy to demolish it. Clear? That's where in Dharma we demolish the discipline of Dharma. Now we are facing the uphill task of building it back. Because we have violated it. Why kutarka? What does kutarka means? My preferences, my conveniences, my ego is superior to the law. If I don't like it, sir, law must obey me. Whether I like it or not, I should obey the law. Is dharma, is bhakti. Are you able to follow? Whether I like it or not, I must obey the law. I will obey the command of the thy will be done, not my will. That's a prayer, no? O Father, thou art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy will be done, not my will. Yeah, that's a prayer you are supposed to say. But then my will be done for others, for others, for others, thy will for others, thy will be done. For me, my will. What does bhakti yoga means now? Strictly obeying the adherence to the to the law. Law is nothing but a tradition. Law means a tradition handed over generations for the welfare. Again, law means a tradition which is a discipline. What follows as a discipline, when it passed on over generation, it becomes a tradition. Remember that tradition is nothing but a discipline handed over. We think tradition means a whim and fancy or a foolishness. That's why we say tradition, culture. Sampradaya, we say here. Shastra and Sampradaya. The Sanskrit word is Shastra and Sampradaya. We say Shastra utta kuda Sampradaya kuda kudadu, we say. Even if you leave the Shastra, don't leave the Sampradaya. Because it's a Sampradaya that keeps the discipline together. Anybody who leaves the Shastra and holds on to Sampradaya very soon can understand the Shastra. A person who wants to go to the Shastra directly by ridiculing and dismissing the Sampradaya will only have Kutarka Buddhi. Are you able to follow now the differences? All these words are very important in the context of Bhakti Yoga. In Karma Yoga, we can't use these words. It doesn't give us the scope. Bhakti Yoga gives us the scope to use these words. Lastly, people say, I'm a spiritual person, sir, but not a religious person. I get utterly confused. I really don't understand what is the difference between. I'm not a religious person, sir, but I'm a spiritual person. All this is Kutarka type of thinking. I really don't understand the difference between the. For both goes together. Spirituality is your inner attitude. Religion is the code of conduct. Religion is the dharma, the code of conduct. Spirituality is your inner discipline. Now, the inner discipline should exhibit as a code of conduct. Yadyata charati sreshta. Whoever does this both become a sreshta. Yadyata charati sreshta tattat eva idarajanah sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. Therefore, pratyaksha pramanam, anumana pramanam, upamanam, words and all is one set of pramanam. In the third chapter, Krishna introduces a new pramanam. What is a new pramanam? The Sreshta's lifestyle. Lifestyle means how they live, not what they. Sayat pramanam kurute. Kurute pramanam. Saha yatu kurute. That becomes the pramanam. So whatsoever they do becomes the pramanam standard. What is that? Spirituality is your inner maturity. That inner maturity will reveal itself as a code of conduct. All this we get a chance to explore and remind ourselves in Bhakti Yoga. All this we get a chance to explore and remind into this Bhakti Yoga. Yes, Amit. Unmute him and then we conclude.
I heard that God is not the bestower of moksha. God is not the bestower of moksha.
Yes.
It is your swarupa. And then yesterday, when we were doing Bhaj Govindam,
Yes.
the Punaram Jarman Puranam Maranam, that verse,
Yes.
he was asking God for grace to give him moksha.
Yes.
So how do you reconcile?
How do you reconcile? Yeah. Yesterday you prayed to God for moksha. Today you are saying God is not required for moksha. Reconcile. Amit. Moksha is not an achievement of the ego. Moksha is not an attainment of the ego. Moksha is not an achievement of the ego. It is the utter negation of the ego. Now, when you have to completely negate the ego using the ego, now who's negating the ego? The ego is negating itself. Now, when the ego is negating itself, how can it obliterate itself? It will come back in some other way. It will gain a backdoor entry and come. What is the backdoor entry? It will come. I am the most humblest person, sir. Are you able to understand the statement? Amit, I am the most humblest. There cannot be a more egoistic statement than this. Because in humility, I am number one. It means the ego is still claiming some status. Are you able to follow? Therefore, ego will always want to gain a backdoor entry. A person who's aware of this is saying what? By constantly reminding the ego that there is a higher power, there is something greater than you, there is something greater than you, there is something greater than you. You means the ego. Are you able to follow? Therefore, when we said yesterday, when Shankaracharya said yesterday, that Kripaya Pare Pahi Murare is only a recognition of the ego's, is only a recognition of the ego's limitation. Are you able to follow that till now? That ego which has understood its limitations and bow down has become calm today. That calm ego recognizes one thing. Moksha reveals itself as what? Moksha will reveal itself as not as blessing of God, but as one's own nature. Kripaya pare pahi murare, to what? Aham brahmasmi. Kripaya pare pahi murare, for ego not to say I attained moksha. Aham brahma, asmi, bondage and pain was my I have conquered the pain. One statement, Amit. Statement number one, I have conquered the pain and misery and frustration. Statement number one. Statement number two, I was imagining pain and misery. What is the difference between the two? What the ego will like? Which statement the ego will like? Unmute him. Which statement the ego will like?
The first one.
First one. Correct. Ego. Because in the second statement, I look so dumb. I look so foolish to think that I am imagining. But then in the first statement, there is a reality to it. Are you able to follow? So, moksha or swarupa means what? I have been imagining this all along. I have been imagining this all along, which is the truth. But to actually realize that and get out of it, you need a preparation. And for that preparation, the ego has to be bent. And for the ego to be bent, it has to recognize that there is something superior to ego, and that which is superior to my ego gives the command, and I have to obey that. You follow the sequence? Therefore, there is no contradiction at all here. It's a very good clarification. There's no contradiction at all. Otherwise, we always think there is a contradiction. If it is your swarupa, doesn't mean it's attainment of the ego. Moksha is your swarupam is the positive way of saying it. What is a negative way of saying the same thing? Your misery and pain and suffering is imagination. Conquering it is very appealing to the ego. You have been imagining all this is very, very demeaning to the ego. Because ego says, it's easy to talk like this, sir. When you go through what I'm going through, you will not talk like that. Isn't it? Ultimately, it will boil down to that. Ultimately, it will boil down to what? If you go through what I'm going through, you will not talk all this, sir. It's always easy to talk. It is true. It is very easy to talk. Adan tamoguna it is. Moksha is your swarupa. God will not say, I will give you moksha. God will say, I will give you the conducive environment for moksha. Again, God will not give you moksha. God will give you the conducive environment for moksha. What is a conducive environment for moksha? Guru Prapti and Jnana Prapti. That's why we have the Guru and we don't even know the Guru. If you have lived a dharmic life and you have done your karma bhakti rightly, இந்த மாதிரி சண்டே பார்ட் டைம் குருலாம் வரமாட்டாரு இல்லையா? இந்த சண்டே பார்ட் டைம் குருலாம் யூஸ்லெஸ் குரு. The real guru, the original guru will come. Guru Prapti you will get. From the Guru Prapti you get Jnana Prapti. That Jnana Prapti, Moksha Prapti. Are you able to follow? Kripaya pare pahi murare. You give me moksha here means what? I will provide the conditions for Guru Praptam to happen, Jnana Praptam to happen, Moksha Praptam to happen. I will give you that. Therefore, he is asking for Kripaya pare pahi murare. Give me this means what is he actually asking for? Through the Guru alone, I can recognize my Swabhava. Through the Guru alone, through the Jnanam alone, I can recognize. I need conducive environment for that. What does moksha means? There is no return to samsara. Iha samsare bahudustare. We study that also, no? What does moksha means? No return to samsara. And then we defined what is samsara. I am in bondage, I need freedom is samsara. I am in bondage, I need freedom is samsara. What is knowledge? Free you are already. You not you, the sharira, the jiva. You here refers to the Supreme Self. Therefore, there is no contradiction here. You follow? So when you pray to God, when you lead a dharmic life, when you pray to God and ask for moksha, actually what are you asking for? You are asking for, I will give yoga kshemam vahamyaham. Chapter 9 he says. When he says, I will give you kshema, we understand what kshema is. I'll give you yoga means what? He's not saying, I will grant you moksha. Certain conditions I will give it to you so that in that condition you can attain moksha. The prayer is, I need those conditions. I want those conditions. What are those conditions I want? Guru Prapti and Jnana. Guru Prapti and Jnana Prapti I want. Without adhering to Dharma, without adhering to a lifestyle of Karma Yoga, professors you will get, tutors you will get, Guru you will not get. And don't misunderstand professor and tutor as Guru. Today we think anybody who speaks becomes a Guru, isn't it? Business Guru. Yeah. Love Guru, isn't it? Love Guru, sir. I learned it from this Love Guru. I heard that guy one day. Yeah? I don't know. Has anybody heard Love Guru here? Huh? Soumitra, don't hear. And that fellow will start at 10:30 in the night. He gives you advices on relationships. God. I think the most frustrated fellow he. 10:30, it's a FM radio, no? That is Love Guru. What a craze it is. So many people told me that you should listen, I should listen. I listen. Where did you hear this? Love Guru taught me this, sir. Mohan, கேட்டிருக்கீங்களா Love Guru? தெரியும். I know. Yeah. When somebody is staying quiet, I know they have heard an artham, isn't it? Love Guru, no sense at all. But then, yeah. Guru Prapti. What is the Guru Prapti? Who's the Guru means? Your ignorance melts away. All your attachments melts away. That is Guru. Jnana Prapti means your ego melts away. That is Jnana. Therefore, reconciliation. There is no difference between, there is no contradiction between what we studied yesterday and what we studied today. What we studied yesterday is step number 1. What we studied today is step number 2. It's a sequence. You follow me? Yeah. With this, we conclude for today. We'll continue next week.
Few more class.
Sorry?
Vimtachalam.
Venkat said something?
Venkatachalam, there is a clarification by Venkatachalam.
Yes. Very see.
I think after listening to
Yes.
ego and the non-ego, you require ego to learn the Shastras or to understand the Shastras.
Yes.
Till such time you require,
Yes.
then you drop that and drop your ego also.
Correct. That's why Yes. That's why I started by saying in the discussion of the three gunas, all these three causes bondage, but we have to use only that. That's where the example of pole vault is so apt.
Yes.
The Swamiji's example of pole vaulter is such a apt example for this point only. Even though refusing to drop the pole is foolishness, not picking up the pole at all is utter foolishness. Now we have a choice to be utterly fool or being a fool. Yeah, புரியுதா? In the pole vault example, refusing to pick up the pole, not dropping the pole is foolishness. Refusing to pick up the pole is other gradations. Moodatma, Pramodatma, Vimudatma, he goes, no. All these gradations comes from here only. Because that's what we have. Like, ice is the pramanam in spite of the optical illusion. In spite of the optical illusion, I is the pramanam because that's what we have to use, isn't it? Because of the optical illusion, blind spots will be there. So all drivers will have blind spot. That's why we want to find a car with 360-degree cameras, isn't it? Because all blind spots can be eliminated. All blind spots eliminated, a car will not move at all. Why? Ping, 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 ping. Because it's from all sides you only hear alarm sounds, isn't it? Are you able to follow the difference, Venkatachalam? Eyes have optical illusions. In spite of it, we have to use the eyes only. What else do we have? So in spite of the limitations of the ego, we only have to use the ego. That's where Guru and Shastra becomes the aid. They teach us how to use the ego to come to that height. And then the same Guru and the Shastra also tells us how to drop it also. That's why we pray. Kripaya pare pahi murare. Why he prays is because how he is helping us to lift us and how they are helping us to drop it also. And then we sail over the other side so beautifully. That's bhakti. That's the life. Yes. Is it okay, sir?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.